Ren stood at the edge of the reception hall, holding a glass of synthetic champagne and wondering when he could politely leave. The wedding had been beautiful in its simplicity. His co-worker Marcus had married a Xanthari woman named Kessa in a quiet ceremony that blended human and alien traditions perfectly. No fuss, no drama, just two people making promises to each other. Why can't everything be this easy? Ren muttered to himself. The space station's observation deck had been transformed into a modest venue. Earth flowers mixed with glowing Xanthari crystals. Soft music played in the background. Guests from a dozen different species mingled peacefully. It was the kind of wedding that made interspecies cooperation look natural. Ren was happy for Marcus. Truly he was. But after 5 years of humanity joining the Galactic Coalition, Ren had seen enough diplomatic functions to last a lifetime. As a station engineer, he preferred the company of machines and repair schedules. Predictable, logical, no surprises. "You look like you want to escape," said a voice beside him. Ren turned to see Kessa's brother, a tall Xanthari with crystalline skin that reflected the room's lights. The Xanthari were known for being direct and observant. "That obvious?" Ren asked. "You have been standing in the same spot for 30 minutes, measuring the distance to the exit every few minutes." Ren laughed. "Guilty, I'm not great at social events. Then you should walk around. The promenade outside has entertainment, street performers from many worlds. It might interest you more than small talk." Ren considered this. "That's not a bad idea, thanks." He slipped out of the reception hall, relieved to escape the crowd. The space station's main promenade stretched before him, a wide corridor with a transparent ceiling showing the stars beyond. Even at night cycle, the promenade buzzed with activity. Shops stayed open, restaurants served late meals, and performers entertained passers-by. Ren walked slowly, enjoying the relative quiet. A Morphean juggler tossed glowing orbs in complex patterns. A human musician played guitar near a fountain. A group of children from various species chased each other around benches while their parents watched. This was what humanity had joined 5 years ago. Not just a political coalition, but a galaxy full of life and diversity. Ren appreciated it, even if he preferred experiencing it from a distance. Then he heard the music. It was unlike anything he had encountered before. Not played by instruments, but emanating from somewhere ahead. The melody rose and fell in waves, beautiful and haunting. Other pedestrians stopped to listen, following the sound. Ren followed too, curious despite himself. He rounded a corner and stopped dead. In an open plaza, a crowd had gathered in a wide circle. At the center, a girl performed what Ren assumed was some kind of artistic display. She appeared humanoid, but clearly was not human. Her skin was silver, actually metallic silver, and it caught the light as she moved. Markings covered her arms and face, glowing in shifting colors, blue, then purple, then gold. The music came from her, from the markings themselves. They pulsed with each note, creating harmonies that seemed impossible from a single source. But it was her movements that truly captivated the audience. She danced, if it could be called dancing. One moment she stood on the ground, the next she floated 1/2 meter in the air, her long silver hair defying gravity. Her clothes, a flowing dress made of some shimmering material, moved around her like it had its own life. She spun and light trails followed her movements. She gestured and small spheres of colored energy appeared around her, orbiting like planets. The crowd watched in amazement. Ren had to admit it was impressive. The girl's expression was one of intense emotion. Her eyes, larger than human eyes and completely golden in color, seemed to search the crowd. She looked hopeful, desperate, joyful, and sad all at once. The music swelled, matching her feelings. Then she began to rise higher, spinning faster. The orbiting lights multiplied. The music grew louder. She was building to some kind of finale. Ren watched with the rest of the crowd, wondering how this would end. The girl spread her arms wide, threw her head back, and began to descend from her floating position. The lights converged on her. The music reached a peak. She fell backward in what looked like a trust fall, her eyes closed, her expression serene. No one in the crowd moved. They all seemed to understand this was part of the performance. But Ren's engineer brain kicked in. The angle was wrong. The speed was too fast. She was going to hit the ground hard. Without thinking, he pushed through the crowd and ran forward. His arms extended just in time to catch her before she struck the plaza floor. She was surprisingly light. The music cut off abruptly. The lights vanished. The girl's golden eyes snapped open, staring directly into Ren's face from a distance of mere centimeters. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then her eyes went even wider. Her mouth opened in a perfect circle of surprise. The markings on her skin flashed brilliant white. "You caught me," she whispered. Yeah," Ren said, suddenly aware he was holding a complete stranger. "Sorry, I thought you were actually falling. I didn't realize it was part of the act." He started to set her down gently. She grabbed his shirt with surprising strength. "You caught me!" Her voice was louder now, filled with emotion. The markings on her skin began cycling through colors rapidly: pink, red, gold, white. "You caught me during the courtship display," she continued, her voice rising. "You accepted. You actually accepted." Ren carefully placed her on her feet and stepped back. "Accepted what?" "I just didn't want you to get hurt." The girl pressed her hands to her face. Her markings turned bright pink. "This is happening. This is really happening. I cannot believe it." "My courtship display worked. Someone actually wants me." The crowd around them began murmuring. Ren noticed several aliens backing away, their expressions ranging from shock to amusement. "Wait, hold on," Ren said. "I think there's been a misunderstanding." The girl was not listening. She spun in a circle, her arms raised to the sky. "The stars have aligned. Fate has spoken. Two souls have found each other in the vast darkness of space." Her voice carried across the entire promenade. More people stopped to watch. Ren felt his face heating up. "Seriously, I just caught you." "That's all? That is everything," the girl exclaimed. She rushed forward and grabbed his hands. "The courtship display is sacred. When a dramatist performs the display, they offer their heart to the universe. And when someone catches them, it means they accept that heart. It means they agree to bond." "Dramatis?" Ren repeated, his stomach sinking. He had heard of the dramatis species vaguely, something about them being theatrical. "Yes, I am Vela of the dramatis people." She pressed his hands to her heart, which he could feel beating rapidly. "And you are my destined partner. What is your name, my fated love?" "Ren, but listen, Ren." She repeated his name like it was poetry. "Ren, strong. Simple, perfect. It suits you." She released his hands and spun away again. "I must register our bonding immediately. The coalition must know. Our families must be told." "Oh, we have so much to prepare." "Bonding?" No, Ren said, stepping forward. "This is a mistake. I'm not bonding with anyone." "I don't even know you." Vela stopped spinning. She turned to face him, her golden eyes suddenly brimming with liquid. "You reject me?" Her voice cracked. Her markings turned deep blue, the color of sadness, Ren guessed. "I'm not rejecting you," Ren said quickly, feeling like he had just kicked a puppy. "I'm saying there's been a misunderstanding. I didn't know catching you meant anything. Where I come from, catching someone who's falling is just being helpful." A single tear rolled down Vela's silver cheek. It sparkled as it fell, literally glittering in the light. "You did not understand the display?" she asked softly. "No, I'm sorry." Another tear fell, then another. They left glowing trails down her face. Ren felt terrible. "Look, I'm sure you're great, but I can't just bond with someone because of an accident." Vela's markings turned darker blue. She lowered her head. Her hair fell forward, hiding her face. "I understand. I am too much. Everyone says so. I should have known better than to perform where off-worlders might interfere." Now Ren felt even worse. "You're not too much. I just don't understand your customs." "The damage is done," Vela said dramatically. She placed the back of her hand against her forehead in a gesture of despair. "You caught me. The display is complete. By the laws of my people and the coalition, we are bonded unless you formally reject me." "Then I formally reject—" "Wait," a new voice interrupted. A small alien pushed through the crowd. He had blue skin, multiple arms, and wore an official-looking uniform. He held a datapad and looked extremely stressed. "Are you Ren Torres, human engineer?" the alien asked. "Yes," Ren answered cautiously. "And you are Vela of Dramatis Prime?" "I am," Vela said, her voice still sad. The alien tapped his datapad rapidly. "The station's automated coalition registry system has flagged a bonding ceremony. It recorded the entire courtship display and the acceptance moment. According to coalition law, you are now registered as bonded partners pending the compatibility trial period." "What?" Ren felt like the floor had dropped out from under him. "The system did what?" The coalition recognizes dramatis courtship displays as legally binding proposals when accepted by any sapient being. Your act of catching Vela during her display constitutes formal acceptance. You are now bonded. Vela's markings flickered between blue and pink. We are bonded? Officially. Pending the trial period, yes, the official confirmed. This is insane, Ren said. I didn't agree to anything. This is a mistake. The official looked sympathetic. I understand your concern, but the law is clear. However, you can petition for annulment. It requires a 3-month compatibility trial to prove the bonding was made in error. 3 months? Ren repeated. Standard coalition procedure. During this time, you must cohabitate and attempt to build a partnership. If after 3 months you both agree the bonding cannot work, annulment is granted. Ren ran his hands through his hair. This could not be happening. And if I just refuse? If I say no right now? The official's expression became serious. Rejecting a registered bonding without completing the trial period is a serious offense. It could result in losing your position here on the station and possible deportation from coalition space. You are joking. I am not. The Dramatis people are valued members of the coalition. Their customs are protected by treaty. Humanity agreed to these terms when joining. Ren stared at the official, then at Vela, then at the crowd of onlookers who watched with fascination. His simple, quiet life had just exploded. Vela approached him slowly. Her markings had settled on a soft pink. I know this is not what you wanted. If you truly cannot bear the thought of bonding with me, I will testify that the annulment should be granted, but we must complete the trial. It is the law. She actually sounded reasonable when she spoke quietly. Ren closed his eyes and took a deep breath. 3 months? 3 months, the official confirmed. And we have to live together? Cohabitation is required to prove incompatibility. Ren opened his eyes and looked at Vela. Really looked at her. She was beautiful in an otherworldly way. Her silver skin and golden eyes were striking. But more than that, her expression showed genuine concern. She looked as thrown by this as he felt. Fine, Ren said. 3 months. Then we get this annulled and go our separate ways. Vela's markings brightened slightly. You agree to the trial? Do I have a choice? You are a good person, Ren, Vela said softly. Not many would agree even when required. Most would fight or flee. Fighting won't change the law, and I can't leave the station. My job is here. The official tapped his datapad. Excellent. I am updating your records now. Vela of Dramatis Prime will be added to your quarters assignment. You should receive notification within the hour. Wait, she's moving in tonight, Ren asked. The trial begins immediately upon registration. Of course it did. The official finished his work and departed. The crowd, sensing the drama was over, slowly dispersed. Ren stood in the plaza with Vela, trying to process what had just happened. Where are your things? Ren asked finally. Vela brightened. Her markings turned warm gold. I have my belongings in temporary housing. I will gather them immediately. Oh, this is wonderful. We shall create a home together. It's just for 3 months, Ren reminded her. Of course, Vela agreed. But her markings stayed bright and happy. 2 hours later, Ren understood the full scope of his mistake. His quarters on the station were modest. One main room that served as living space and bedroom, a small kitchen area, and a bathroom. It was enough for one person, maybe 2 if they liked each other and did not own much. Vela arrived with 17 trunks. What is in all of these? Ren asked, staring at the containers that filled his entire living space. Clothes mostly, Vela said cheerfully, and costumes, and ceremonial items, and my collection of historical dramatis performance recordings, and my musical instruments, and my... You have 17 trunks of stuff? 18, actually. One is still coming up on the lift. Ren sat down on the one piece of furniture still visible, his desk chair. Where is all this going to fit? Vela looked around the quarters with her large golden eyes. It is cozy, I like it. We shall make it work. She began opening trunks and pulling out items. Clothes in every color imaginable. Elaborate costumes with feathers, crystals, and flowing fabrics. Strange instruments that Ren could not identify. Boxes of what looked like makeup or body paint. This can go here, Vela said, hanging a shimmering dress on his wall. And this here. She placed a large crystalline sculpture on his desk. Oh, and we must have proper lighting. She activated a device that projected soft, colorful light around the room. In minutes, Ren's simple quarters transformed into something resembling a theatrical dressing room. Vela, Ren said carefully, This is a bit much. She turned to him, her markings flickering with concern. You do not like it? He looked at her face, saw genuine worry there, and sighed. It's fine. Just different. Her markings brightened immediately. You are so understanding. I knew you were special when I saw you in the crowd. You saw me before I caught you? Of course. A dramatist always knows their audience. She pulled out another trunk and began extracting what looked like ceremonial candles. I saw you standing there, looking so serious and thoughtful. I thought that one has depth. That one might understand. Understand what? Vela paused, holding a candle in each hand. That some of us need more space to express ourselves. That some of us cannot fit into small, quiet boxes. There was something vulnerable in her voice that made Ren look at her more closely. Is that why you were performing alone? He asked. The courtship display? She nodded. Most dramatis perform the display on our homeworld, surrounded by family and potential partners. But I wanted adventure. I wanted to see the galaxy. So I left home and came to the station. I thought perhaps I would find someone who appreciated our ways. But instead you got me, someone who doesn't understand your ways at all. Vela smiled and her whole face lit up. You caught me anyway. That must mean something. Ren was not sure it meant anything except that he had bad timing. But he did not say so. They spent the next hour arranging Vela's belongings in ways that would not completely block all movement through the quarters. It was challenging. Vela wanted to hang things from the ceiling. Ren had to explain station regulations about modifications. Vela wanted to rearrange all his furniture. Ren had to explain that some of it was built into the walls. But eventually they reached a compromise. The quarters looked nothing like they had before, but Ren could still reach his bed and his kitchen. There, Vela said, stepping back to admire their work. Perfect. It was not perfect. It was crowded and chaotic and full of colors that hurt Ren's eyes. But Vela looked so happy that he did not argue. I should sleep, Ren said. I have work tomorrow. Vela's expression became serious. Of course. You are an engineer, yes? A builder and fixer of important things? Something like that? How noble. To work with your hands and mind to keep others safe. It's just a job. It is never just a job when it matters, Vela said firmly. Ren was too tired to argue. He moved toward his bed, then stopped. Where are you sleeping? Vela pulled a rolled mat from one of her trunks. I have this. I shall sleep here beside your bed. You can have the bed. I'll take the mat. No, you must be rested for your important work. I insist. They argued about this for 10 minutes before Ren gave up. Vela was surprisingly stubborn beneath all the dramatics. Ren lay in his bed, staring at the ceiling which now had fabric draped across it in artistic patterns. He could hear Vela humming softly on her mat, a gentle melody that her markings produced even in the dark. 3 months, he thought. Just 3 months. Then life goes back to normal. He had no idea how wrong he was. The first week of living with Vela taught Ren more about patience than his entire life before. She did not just live in his quarters. She performed in them. Every action became an event. Making breakfast was a ceremony involving specific music from her markings, particular arrangements of food, and what she called proper gratitude to the universe for providing sustenance. Ren just wanted coffee and toast. You must appreciate the journey of these ingredients, Vela insisted one morning, holding up a piece of fruit. This grew on a world far from here. It traveled through space to reach your hand. That is miraculous. It came from the station hydroponics bay, Ren said. Deck 12, Vela was undeterred. Still miraculous. Plants growing in space, creating oxygen and food where there should be only void. She had a point, Ren admitted privately. He had just never thought about it that way. Work became complicated too. Vela insisted on walking him to his shift each morning. This would have been fine, except she treated it like a grand procession. She waved to everyone they passed. She commented dramatically on the weather control systems. She once stopped to have a full conversation with a confused maintenance robot. Why do you do that? Ren asked after she finished telling the robot to keep up the excellent work. Do what? Talk to everything like it's important. Vela looked at him with those large golden eyes. Because it is important. Every being, everything plays a role. The robot keeps the station clean. Without it, we would live in filth. That deserves recognition. Ren had never considered thanking a robot before. His co-workers found the whole situation hilarious. They teased him constantly about his dramatic wife. Ren corrected them every time. She was not his wife. This was temporary, just a legal requirement, but after 2 weeks something shifted. Ren was working on a particularly frustrating repair. The station's water recycling system had developed a leak somewhere in the network. The sensors showed pressure loss but could not pinpoint the location. He had been checking pipes for hours with no success. Vela had started visiting him during lunch breaks. She brought food and what she called moral support. Mostly this meant she sat nearby and provided commentary on his work. "You are very focused," she observed, watching him scan another pipe section. "I have to be. If I cannot find this leak, we will have water rationing by tomorrow." That would be bad. Very bad. Vela was quiet for a moment, which was unusual. Then she stood and walked along the corridor, running her hand along the wall. "What are you doing?" Ren asked. "Feeling," she said simply. Her markings began to glow, cycling through colors. She moved slowly, her head tilted like she was listening to something. Ren watched, curious despite himself. Vela stopped at a section of wall about 10 meters from where Ren had been working. She pressed her palm flat against it. Her markings flashed bright blue. "Here," she said. "Something is wrong here." Ren brought his scanner over. "There is no pipe behind this wall. The schematic shows..." He stopped. The scanner was picking up moisture. "A lot of it. How did you know?" he asked. Vela smiled. "I felt it. The temperature changes. The vibration in the metal. My people are very sensitive to such things. It helps with our performances. We must read every detail of our environment." Ren opened the wall panel. Sure enough, a pipe that was not on the official schematic was leaking steadily, probably added during a renovation and never properly recorded. He fixed it in 20 minutes. "You just saved the station from water rationing," Ren said, staring at Vela with new respect. She performed a little bow. "I am helpful." "You are," Ren agreed. That evening he actually asked her about her abilities, how her species had evolved with such sensitivity, what else she could detect that others missed. Vela lit up brighter than he had ever seen. She loved talking about her people. "We evolved on a world with extreme weather," she explained, "storms that could kill in minutes. Our ancestors learned to read tiny changes in air pressure, temperature, electromagnetic fields. Those who could sense danger survived. Those who could communicate that danger clearly to others survived better. So we became theatrical. Big gestures mean clear communication. So all the drama serves a purpose," Ren said. "Everything serves a purpose," Vela replied, "even when it seems excessive." Ren began seeing her differently after that. The dramatic gestures were not just for show. When she pressed her hand to her forehead in distress, she was actually feeling a temperature change that indicated a ventilation problem. When she declared a dark omen, she had noticed a flicker in the lights that meant power fluctuations. He started paying attention to her dramatics. And he started finding problems before they became emergencies. His supervisor noticed. "Torres, your efficiency has improved significantly," the supervisor said during a review. "You are identifying issues before they appear on our monitoring systems. How?" Ren glanced at Vela, who had insisted on attending the review for moral support. She sat in the corner trying to look small and quiet. She was not succeeding. Her markings glowed with nervous energy. "I have been paying attention to details more," Ren said carefully. The supervisor followed his glance to Vela. "The Dramatis girl, she is helping you?" "Her sensory abilities are very acute." The supervisor considered this. "Interesting. Dramatis people rarely work with other species. They are considered too difficult to cooperate with." "She is not difficult," Ren said. "She is just different." Vela's markings turned soft pink. After the meeting, she grabbed Ren's hand. "You defended me." "I stated facts. You called me not difficult." "You are not. You are just enthusiastic." She looked like she might cry happy tears. Ren had learned those were different from sad tears. Happy tears sparkled more. "I am trying very hard to be a good partner during this trial," Vela said quietly. "I know you did not choose this, but I want you to know I am grateful you gave me a chance." Ren squeezed her hand. "You have been helpful. I should be grateful too." They stood there in the corridor holding hands until Ren realized what they were doing and pulled away awkwardly. "We should go home," he said. "Home," Vela repeated, smiling. "I like when you call it that." 2 months into the trial, Ren had developed a routine with Vela that actually worked. She would sense problems, he would fix them. She would make their quarters beautiful and full of life. He would keep things organized and functional. She would cook elaborate meals. He would clean up afterward. It was not the life he had planned, but it was not bad. Then everything changed. Ren was deep in the station's lower engineering levels when Vela found him. She ran through the corridors, her markings flashing urgent red. "Ren," she called. "Ren, something is wrong." He looked up from his work. "What is it?" She pressed both hands to her head. "I feel it. Pressure, heat. Something bad is coming." "Where?" "Everywhere. All around. The station is in danger." Other engineers looked over. One of them muttered, "The dramatic one is here." Ren ignored him. He had learned to trust Vela's instincts. "Show me where it is strongest." Vela grabbed his hand and pulled him through the corridors. She stopped at various points, her markings cycling through colors as she sensed the environment. "Here. No, here. It is everywhere, but concentrated here." She placed her palm on a bulkhead near the station's outer hull. Ren scanned it. Nothing appeared on his instruments. "Vela, I am not reading anything wrong." "It is there. I feel it. Please, you must trust me." He did trust her. That was the problem. Or maybe it was not a problem at all. Ren called his supervisor. "I need a full sensor sweep of the outer hull, section 12. "What? Why?" "Our systems show no issues. I have reason to believe there might be structural problems." "What reason?" Ren hesitated. Then, Vela detected anomalies. There was a pause on the comm. "The Dramatis girl?" "Yes," another pause. "Torres, I cannot authorize a full sweep based on a feeling. Then I am authorizing it myself. Under emergency protocols. If you are wrong, this goes on your record." "Understood." The supervisor sighed. "Fine, I will send a team." 20 minutes later, alarms blared throughout the station. "All personnel, this is not a drill. Hull breach detected, section 12. Micrometeorite impacts. Multiple small fractures. Engineering teams respond immediately." Ren stared at Vela. "You were right. I told you," she said, but there was no smugness in her voice, just fear. "Is everyone safe?" "Get to the emergency shelter," Ren ordered. "I have to help with repairs." "I am coming with you." "It is too dangerous." Vela's markings flashed bright red. "I can sense where the weak points are." "You need me." She was right again. They worked together for 6 hours. Vela would move along the corridors, sensing vibrations and temperature changes that indicated hull stress. Ren would direct repair teams to those locations. They found 14 fractures before they became full breaches. Station command estimated they saved over 200 lives. When the emergency was over, Ren and Vela sat together in an empty corridor, exhausted. "We make a good team," Ren said quietly. Vela leaned her head on his shoulder. "We do." Her markings glowed soft gold. Peaceful. Content. Ren realized he did not mind her leaning on him. Actually, he kind of liked it. "The trial period is almost over," Vela said softly. 2 more weeks. "Yeah, have you decided?" "About the annulment." Ren was quiet for a long moment. "Have you?" "I asked first. I am thinking about it." Vela lifted her head to look at him. "Truly?" "You are not what I expected," Ren admitted. "When this started, I thought it would be 3 months of chaos. And it has been chaotic, but it has also been good. You make everything more interesting." "You make everything more stable," Vela replied. "I have never had someone who accepts my nature, but also helps me focus it. You do not tell me to be less. You help me be more effective." They looked at each other for a long moment. "So maybe we should—" Ren started. "Vela!" A booming voice echoed through the corridor. Both of them jumped up. 3 Dramatis people swept into view. 2 were even taller than Vela, with more elaborate markings and clothing that looked like it came from a royal court. The third was shorter, older, wearing robes covered in symbols. Vela's markings went pale. Mother, father, high dramatist. Her mother rushed forward and embraced her dramatically. "My daughter, we received word of your bonding. We came immediately." Her father struck a pose. "To meet the one who captured our daughter's heart." The high dramatist said nothing, just studied Ren with ancient golden eyes. Vela pulled away from her mother. "You did not need to come. The trial is almost complete." "Of course we needed to come," her mother exclaimed. A bonding is significant. We must ensure this human is worthy. Ren felt their eyes on him. He suddenly understood how specimens felt under microscopes. You are Ren, the father said. It was not a question. Yes, sir. You caught our daughter during her courtship display. I did, though I did not understand what it meant at the time. Ignorance is no excuse, the high dramatist spoke for the first time. His voice was deep and resonant. The display is sacred. You have bound yourself to Vela through ancient law. Now you must prove yourself worthy. He is worthy, Vela protested. He is kind and smart and hard-working. That is for us to determine, her mother said. The trial of eternal devotion must be performed. Ren looked at Vela. What is that? She looked miserable. A series of tests. To prove a bonding is true. I thought the 3-month compatibility trial was the test. That is coalition law. The high dramatist said, This is dramatis law. If you wish to truly bond with Vela, you must pass our trials. And if he does not wish to try? Vela asked quietly. Her mother's markings turned cold blue. Then he will annul as we expect. No off-worlder has ever bonded successfully with our people. We are too much for them. There was something in how she said it. A certainty. An expectation. Ren felt his stubborn side emerge. I will take your trials. Vela's markings flashed bright with hope. Her parents looked surprised. The high dramatist simply nodded. Tomorrow, then. Prepare yourself, human. The trials were absurd. The first test required Ren to compose a poem about his feelings for Vela and perform it through interpretive dance. Ren could not dance. At all he tried. He really did. But his movements were awkward and stiff. The poem he wrote was simple and short compared to dramatis standards. Vela's mother watched with a critical expression. Is that all? I am an engineer, not a performer, Ren said. Clearly. But Vela was watching him with soft eyes. I liked it, she said quietly. It was honest. The second test was a formal dinner where each course came with a tragic backstory that had to be honored with appropriate emotional responses. Ren sat through 3 hours of elaborate stories about the vegetables, the proteins, the sauces. He was supposed to weep for the sacrifice of ingredients, celebrate their journey to the table, and express gratitude through song. He did his best. It was not very good. Vela's father shook his head. He does not understand our ways. I'm trying to understand, Ren said. Trying is not succeeding. The third test was a theatrical debate where Ren had to defend his love for Vela using elaborate metaphors and dramatic delivery. 6 hours. The debate lasted 6 hours. Ren's throat was hoarse by the end. His metaphors were basic. His delivery was flat compared to the high dramatist's booming performance. When it was over, Vela's parents conferred with the high dramatist privately. Ren sat with Vela in the waiting area. I'm sorry, he said. I am terrible at all of this. You tried, Vela said. That is more than anyone else has ever done. What do you mean? Before she could answer, her parents returned. We have made our decision, Vela's mother announced. Everyone stood. Ren of Earth, the high dramatist intoned. You have attempted the trials. You have shown effort, but you lack the understanding of our ways that true bonding requires. Ren's heart sank. Therefore, the mother continued, we recommend annulment. This bonding cannot succeed. No, Vela stepped forward. You cannot decide that. We can and must, her father said. We will not see you suffer a failed bonding. You want him to fail, Vela said suddenly, her voice shaking. You wanted it from the start. Her parents exchanged glances. You think no one can love a dramatist who is not dramatists themselves, Vela continued. You think we are too much for the rest of the galaxy, so you make the trials impossible. You set standards no one can meet. That way you can say we tried but others failed. Vela, her mother started. No, I am too much even for our own people. That is why I left, because everyone on our homeworld said I was excessive. I was too dramatic even for the dramatists. So I thought maybe out here in the wider galaxy I could find someone who accepted me. Tears ran down her silver face. And I did. Ren accepts me. He does not try to make me smaller. He helps me use what I am. And you want to take that away because he cannot dance properly? The room was silent. Ren stepped forward. She is right. The high dramatist turned his ancient eyes to him. I failed your trials, Ren said. I cannot dance or sing or perform like your people. But that is not the point. The point is I am here. I am trying. I spent 3 months learning Vela's ways. I learned to read her signals. I learned her strengths. And yes, she is dramatic. She is a lot to handle, but humans are used to that. He thought of his mother, who cried at every commercial, his friend who turned every story into an epic tale. Humanity was full of dramatic people. We do not need her to be less, Ren continued. We just need to understand why she is more. And I do. Her drama serves a purpose. Her sensitivity saves lives. Her enthusiasm makes everything better. So no, I cannot pass your performance trials. But I can pass the one that matters. I choose her. Every day. Drama and all. Vela was crying openly now, her tears sparkling like stars. Her mother's markings had shifted to surprise pink. Her father looked thoughtful. The high dramatist was silent for a long moment. Then he did something unexpected. He smiled. That, he said, was the real trial. What? Ren asked. The performances were secondary, the high dramatist explained. We needed to see if you would give up when things became difficult. Most do. They decide we are not worth the effort. But you stayed. You tried, and when we pushed you to annul, you refused. He turned to Vela's parents. He has passed the true test. Vela's mother stepped forward. Her expression had softened. We did not mean to hurt you, daughter. We only wanted to protect you. Our people have been rejected so many times. We thought isolation was safer than disappointment. But we were wrong, her father added. This human sees your value. Perhaps we have been looking at this incorrectly. Perhaps the problem was not that we are too much. Perhaps it was that we never found those who were adaptable enough. Humans are very adaptable, Ren said. The high dramatist nodded. So we are learning. Your species joined the coalition only 5 years ago. Yet you have integrated faster than any other. You bond with species others avoid. You find common ground where none seem to exist. This is your strength. He placed a hand on Ren's shoulder. You have my blessing. Bond with Vela. Build a life together. Show the galaxy that differences can complement rather than divide. Vela rushed forward and hugged Ren tightly. Her markings blazed brilliant gold. We can stay together, she asked. If you want to, Ren said. I want to. I want to more than anything. Then we stay together. Her parents smiled. Her mother wiped away tears that sparkled just like Vela's. We should plan a proper ceremony, her father said. A bonding celebration worthy of the occasion. Vela pulled back from Ren. Yes. Oh, we must have music and lights and flowers and it should be reasonable, Ren interrupted gently. Maybe we can blend your traditions with human ones. Make it special but not overwhelming. Vela considered this. A compromise. A collaboration, she smiled. I like that better. The bonding celebration happened 2 weeks later. It was uniquely theirs. The ceremony took place on the same plaza where they had first met. Vela wore a dress that shimmered with its own light. Ren wore a simple suit that Vela had decorated with small glowing threads. The ceremony included dramatis elements, music from Vela's markings, floating lights, elaborate vows that rhymed, but it also included human elements, a short timeline, chairs for guests food people could actually identify, and vows that were understandable. I promise to accept your drama, Ren said during his vows. To listen to your instincts, to appreciate your gifts, and to always catch you when you fall. Vela's vows were longer and more poetic, but she ended simply. I promise to help you see the beauty in chaos, and to love you for exactly who you are. The whole station attended. Engineers that Ren worked with, aliens from a dozen species, even Marcus and Kessa, whose simple wedding had started this whole adventure. Congratulations, Marcus said at the reception, though I still cannot believe you actually went through with it. Neither can I, Ren admitted, watching Vela perform their love story for a group of entertained guests. But I am glad I did. She makes you happy? Ren thought about it. She makes everything more complicated. But yes, she makes me happy. As the celebration continued, Ren noticed something interesting. Other humans approached him quietly. They had bonded with aliens that other species considered difficult. A man married to an insectoid who communicated through dances. A woman bonded to a being made of living crystal who could not speak at all. Another person partnered with a species that required complete darkness to live comfortably. "We heard what you said," one of them told Ren, "about humans being adaptable. You are right. We can make relationships work that others think are impossible." "It is not easy," Ren said. "Nothing worthwhile is," the woman replied. "But we are good at this, finding ways to connect, building bridges. Maybe that is humanity's real contribution to the galaxy." Ren watched Vela finish her performance with a dramatic bow. The crowd applauded. She beamed with joy, her markings blazing like a sun. She looked over and saw him watching. She smiled and gestured for him to join her. He shook his head. He was not a performer. She gave him an exaggerated sad expression, her hand pressed to her forehead. Despite himself, he laughed and walked over. "Dance with me," she said. "I cannot dance." "Then we will not dance well together. But we will do it anyway." She took his hand. Her markings played soft music. He moved awkwardly. She moved gracefully. Together they were mismatched and imperfect. And it was perfect anyway. Later, as the celebration wound down and guests departed, Ren and Vela stood together looking out at the stars through the plaza's transparent ceiling. "What are you thinking?" Vela asked. "That my life got very strange very quickly. Is that bad?" "No," Ren said honestly. "It is different. But different is not bad." Vela leaned against him. "I love you, you know. I know it started as an accident, but what I feel now is very real." Ren wrapped an arm around her. "I love you too, dramatics and all. You say that a lot, because it is important. I do not love you despite your nature. I love you because of it. All of it." Vela's markings glowed soft and warm. "That is the most romantic thing anyone has ever said to me." "Really? It was pretty simple. Sometimes simple is best." They stood together in comfortable silence, watching ships come and go from the station. Ren thought about the future. It would be chaotic. Vela would continue to be dramatic. Their home would always be full of color and music and elaborate ceremonies for ordinary things. But it would also be full of life, of laughter, of someone who saw the world in ways he never could. He had attended his friend's simple wedding and thought that was the ideal. Quiet, uncomplicated, easy. But maybe easy was not the point. Maybe the point was finding someone worth being complicated for. Vela squeezed his hand. "Thank you for catching me. Thank you for being worth catching." She laughed, the sound like music. "We should go home." "Home," Ren agreed. They walked together through the station corridors. Vela waved to everyone they passed, even the cleaning robots. She narrated their journey like an epic quest. She made everything dramatic and beautiful and exhausting. And Ren would not change any of it, because sometimes the best things in life were not the simple ones. Sometimes they were the complicated, chaotic, dramatic ones that challenged you to grow beyond what you thought possible. Sometimes they were the ones that started with an accident and became exactly what you needed. And as they entered their quarters, crowded with 17 trunks and decorations and evidence of two very different people learning to share space, Ren realized something. He was genuinely happy, drama and all.